How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Ready for this apartment tour?
Yeah, that's it. If you have very, very, very little money, you can live in the UAE.
How did you get into coding in the first place?
What really cemented it down for me was when Imran and I started Sunnah Match. And then it was like, now you can make internet money. Internet money is not like salary money, bro.
How have you found community-wise here?
The only way I've really gotten to know my local community is through the masjid.
So you started building the Sunnah Match app.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the beginning, when you're doing your own thing, you're not going to get paid much. That's just a given, right?
The first time I got paid from Sunnah Match was, I've been living out of my house for long enough that I can fit most of my items in one suitcase anyway.
How much money were you making at that time? Approximately.
Maybe like
If the person who's watching this who wants to make the move, what's one piece of advice that you give to them? Alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another episode of The Road to Hijrah, the show where I aim to inspire you to do Hijrah and also show you exactly how to do it. Today's episode, I have my good friend Abbas as the guest on the show. He left uni broke and confused. He then went on and learned how to code from scratch, secured a job as a developer before eventually growing a startup to the point where he was able to quit his job and finally move to a Muslim country. I have to warn you, the main reason that he mentions for leaving the UK and moving to the UAE might come as a bit of a shock. If you're like he once was, fresh out of uni, broke, no idea what to do, but you know you want to move to a Muslim country, this episode is for you. With that said, you know how it goes. We're going to be starting at his building in the Jeddah area of Dubai. Let's get straight into the episode. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Ready for this apartment tour?
Yeah, sure. Oh, actually, by the way, I don't want to share my own house.
Okay.
So I got another representative
Perfect.
apartment. Yeah.
Amazing. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. They're not furnished though. So
Okay.
this may be a representation of a unfurnished place.
That's
Yeah.
fine. We'll do that, inshallah.
That's
I like
fine.
the thinking on the spot. I like
Yeah.
So you've been here for a year and 3 months.
Yeah. But the way I ended up here, actually, I don't even know if I should talk about it because.
Talk about it, bro.
So no, but
that's the whole point of this show,
I know,
bro.
I hear that. Well, basically, what I'm saying is, this is it. Oh, he was right.
You should always do a courtesy. Imagine someone was in here also doing the viewing. So we have a...
Okay, perfect. This is the exact same setup that I have.
Oh, so literally this is
yeah,
exactly...
basically all the apartments, because I checked out a few different places when I was here, right? Oh, nothing's wrong.
So by the way, this is a point to mention, right, guys? When you come for a viewing in the UAE, usually, I mean, I don't think it's the issue of that. I think just the C was turned off, unless it's that mains. Oh, okay. But usually it's actually disconnected.
Yeah.
Even you can't actually do it. So that's one thing that can be annoying when you go for a viewing is that you don't really get a feel for the lighting.
Like what it would look like.
So we've got a guest bathroom. That's the first thing as you come in. We've got a large living area, separate kitchen, which is always important. Well, at least for me.
Yeah, for me as well. I don't know if you. I don't like the open plan.
No, yeah, for me as well, it's a red flag. Not a red flag, but a deal breaker.
Yeah, definitely. So this is the exact same. It feels like I'm at my own house.
Ensuite with a shower, no bathtub.
Yeah. So this.
So
imagine.
light.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I wanted to go for this.
Oh, it's the corner
I
light.
like the big windows. Yeah.
Oh, is this for you, man?
Yeah. So we have a community like garden or
That's quite sick. And children's
like
play area, basketball court.
Yeah.
So how come you never invite us to play basketball?
To be honest, it's really dilapidated, bro. I don't know if you can tell us. Nobody ever goes there, especially not me.
What's the thought?
I think the last people they were playing tennis and then they left the net.
Okay, so it's a multi-function.
Yeah. So imagine this. My bed is right here. I think it's really
Guys, we'll put a video on a virtual reality bed there, everyone.
It's really opinionated design because you can't really put it anywhere else because the light switch is there. You know, the low. This is when you're lying down and you can't bother to get out of bed, so you just go.
Yeah.
That's that.
Makes sense. Like in the hotels.
Basically, essentially, yeah. So your bed pretty much has to go here. You don't really have a choice in that. You could put it there, but that's, yeah. Yeah, cool.
One thing that's really nice about this is the wardrobes. So a lot of, as in every place has built-in wardrobes, but a lot of them are not ugly, like mahogany, dark brown, or these are like something you would expect to find in the West.
A bit more modern.
A bit more modern, yeah. So do you know how new this building is?
So this will be the third. When I moved in, my apartment was 1 year old, so the whole building is 1 year old.
Oh, wow.
So this would be the
third
coming
year.
on the fourth year.
Oh, fourth year.
But to be honest, I don't hate that. You know, when an apartment is like, you want to get a view of this? Feels like feels like walking into my own bathroom, bro. Yeah. When you move here, there's a lot of changes that have happened to the style of the accommodation in terms of the sizing. So you'll find apartments that are older, maybe not really old, like not 10 years, but like older than 5 years, they're bigger.
Okay.
And I think I know why. I think it says that when they built, like, you know, Imar and the Mac and stuff, when they were starting to build the apartments, they were realizing, wait, hold on, I like to have a big place, so naturally other people are gonna like to have a big place. So the prices that they kind of set for that, for the, like the price per square foot is what I'm talking about, was much better in the older apartments. Now it's like, they know people are coming from the UK, they know people are coming from the Europe.
People are used to living in
They're used to living in really small apartments, so it's like, I'm looking at
medium sizes.
But I'm looking at 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, and they're small. They're really small.
Really small.
There's brother who I know who lives in a 3-bedroom apartment. But when I walked into his house, I was like, it feels like I'm walking in a labyrinth. You know, it's really small. I didn't want to have that, so I tried to get as large per square feet as possible.
I think this is a testimony to how large this actually is.
Yeah.
I think you could do a solid maybe 20 steps.
The other thing is I wanted us, these are the kind of things you don't really think about all the time, but I wanted to have like something here in front of the door so that when I open it, people who are there, like if it's a delivery guy or something, you can't see directly into the apartment. Like this would be a closed door, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a toilet, I would keep the door closed, and then he wouldn't be able to see, like in here, he would be able to see this, right? But there's a lot of places that have the front door.
The door, you're in the room.
Exactly, you're in the living room, basically.
So what's the rent like in this building?
Okay, so this place is 70,000 for this exact
for a one-bedroom.
1 bedroom, yeah. I don't, you know, so
it's kind of pricey.
Yeah, it's expensive. I don't want to talk about how I got here, but basically my first place, I don't know if you should put me on about this. You can make your own determination. I was using somebody else's name to stay here because I hadn't got my residency house set up and stuff. And then they found out that I'm not him because he would come with me for all of the like official, like, you know, signing the documents and stuff. And there was one problem in the apartment, so he had to come. And then they put 2 and 2 together. They were like, hold on, we're used to seeing this guy always leaving the building, but whenever it's official, this guy shows up and this guy signs documents. So then I don't know if the security realized or whatever, but the landlady who owned the apartment, she wanted to sell it.
Okay.
And in the UAE, you have to let the tenant know 12 months in advance. Yeah. So like when the next renewal comes,
unless
you have to let them know.
the tenant has breached their contract.
Exactly, exactly. And part of the contract is that.
You know what it is? They probably knew but didn't care until it became relevant and they needed it. And it's like, oh, by the way, guys, you're breaking the rules.
Yeah. So they basically turfed me from the apartment. I wasn't planning on moving, and then I was like homeless for a bit, like living in Airbnbs, you know, for like 2 or 3 months. So when I found this place, I was just like, it's good enough for me to no longer have it. Yeah, I'd rather just come here. Even if the price was a little bit high, but yeah, 70K.
Dubai is kind of like regular. I'm thinking Sharjah, so people get like a nice, similar to this, but 2-bed.
Okay.
Like 70, but 2 years, even now it's going up, so now it's like 80K, 85K.
For
like Zakia, for example. Yeah, like 2-bed in Zakia, for example. But yeah, cool. And checks wise, how have you found that process of checks?
Okay, so in the beginning, I wasn't looking forward to it because you have to have so much money up front. Right? You have to have obviously the first check, and then you have to have 5% for the company's deposit, and then also 5% for the commission for the guy, all the stuff. So I wasn't looking forward to it, but then I was like, I kind of prefer it now.
Yeah, so that's headache, and you don't worry about each month.
I know in advance that something's going to happen for the rent payment, but also at the same time, it's not coming every single month.
Yeah.
Like I said, sometimes something happens, bro. Like you have to make an emergency trip, you have to do something like this, and there's no time to recoup that money, and then you're behind on your rent.
How many checks?
Mine's 4 checks.
4 checks.
Yeah. I think the guy initially wanted 6, but when I met him, he
wanted 6.
No, so he wanted every 6 months. He wanted 2 checks.
Oh, 2 checks.
Yeah. So
usually they want as few checks as possible. I thought maybe you did the opposite.
No, I don't think about it in terms of checks. I think about it in terms of months. Yeah, so it's like every 3 months, but that's 4 checks. So he wanted 2 checks, and I was like, bro, I'm a civilized person. You don't have to worry about and he was like, okay, cool, whatever. We'll make it 4 checks. And then that's it. He was cool about that. Never missed a check. I've heard the horror stories of I tried to leave the country and they arrested me in the airport.
No, it's not like that anymore.
Okay, what's it like now? It used
to be like that. It's no longer a criminal offence to miss a check now. It used to be a criminal offence.
Okay.
It's not a criminal offence
anymore. So you can just leave even if you're behind on your rent?
Yeah, and there's no connection to the system or not. Not that I ever did that, but I've missed I miscalculated or I misjudged my cash flow.
Yeah.
And they didn't take it out on the 1st.
Okay.
The money was in the account on the 1st.
The date was
they ended up
supposed to go
taking it out on like the 16th.
See, that's
by
crazy.
then. Money had, like my account had been in, out.
That confirms for me my suspicion, because I would always ask, because there's been times where I have the money but it's in different accounts.
Yeah.
Right. And I have to also get it into my
exchange it or transfer.
I have to get it into my UAE account somehow, right? So I asked around to the barbers. I was like, is it a automatic system where the guy like they take all of the checks? Let's say it's this building.
Don't forget the fuse.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's say it's this building, right?
Yeah.
The guy, do they take all the checks to the bank, and then from there, it's like the bank is the one who processes them? Mm-hmm. But from what you just said, it confirms my initial suspicion, which is that it's just a guy who takes the checks on the dates.
So they blamed it on the bank. They said to me that we've already deposited all the checks with the bank manager.
Okay.
And they just processed it late or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's happened. But it's not the end of the world.
Let's hope they were being honest.
Yeah, bro. Keep it real. And even this year, so I was doing 4 checks as well.
Yeah.
So I said to the agent, I said, listen, chat to the landlord, bro. Get me 6.
Yeah.
But he came back and said, no, let's do 5. It's in the middle. So it's a bit weird. So I've got some months where there's like a 3-month gap, and some months where there's like a 2-month gap. So it's irregular.
Yeah.
Which I feel like it's going to cause more problems, because now I'm thinking, when is it? I don't know, is it 2 months? Is it? I can actually check that.
That's another issue.
How close is the local masjid?
I'll show you.
Close?
Yeah, it's very close.
Alhamdulillah. And can you hear the adhan and stuff?
Yeah, all the time. I actually don't. People ask me, what time is it start? I don't know. I have no idea. I just hear that adhan and I know it's time to go.
Perfect.
I don't know what time. Like, actually I have a rough idea, but rough is not good enough, because they will pray 20 minutes after the adhan. So you have to know to the minute. So it's easier for me to just hear it and then just, get ready to go.
Apps, like I've got an app that tells me like a countdown to the minute, like when the farmer is, when the thing is.
So what I was saying is that there's multiple exits to this building, and those exits are coupled with their own lift shaft. So like the one that we just went down is like the main entrance, main exit lift shaft, but there's another one on my side.
There you go.
Yeah, even these shops like that.
30-second.
Yeah, it's very close. It's very, very close. So these shops, like the flower shop and stuff, those are actually a part of the masjid's building structure. I guess they just didn't have a need for it, and they just found a way to rent it out. But if you look at it, you'll notice it's basically the same thing. Like where the imam lives and stuff is on the other side of these little shops.
Makes sense. What kind of effect do you feel like living this close to the masjid has on your life?
Oh, okay. So I'm ashamed to admit that for the first year of my life in the UAE, I didn't really go to the masjid. Like, I would go for Jummah and stuff, but I didn't really go. So look, can you see that? There's another exit thingy over there. It looks very small.
Right, in between those buildings,
in between those two
entrance.
shops. Yeah. So there's a lift that's right next to that, and my apartment is over there, and it faces this way.
Oh, there's a car rental company here, yeah?
There's a few, yeah.
Ops. That explains why there's a Urus, a Bentley, M4,
that's the
Ferrari.
Superfast. These guys, okay, to be honest, I don't want to badmouth these guys, but it's really annoying that they have so many cars, because they always block up this little area in the night.
Oh, there's another one here as well. Oh wait, there's actually a few.
Yeah.
63, 222. Oh, 222.
Oh, you know that?
I know these guys.
Oh, is it, like, personally?
No, as in I'm in contact. Okay, this must be, I actually know this Ferrari. I was going to book you for the last righteous rides.
Oh, legit?
Yeah.
Oh, is that the one you were booking?
So that's where these guys are.
Yeah.
No, that was another one.
Okay.
But then I was going to use this one as a backup.
I see. Yeah, so they got bare cars, but it's really annoying because they just park them everywhere. They used to have this section over here unpaved, so it didn't have curbs and stuff, so these guys will just park on the sand, which is great.
Yeah.
But now, obviously, you can't really every single time expect like a Hurricane STO to mount that curb. So they try to stick it in over here, but it doesn't always fit. So they just have to park on the street.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What other kind of amenities are there in the local area? Do you have to travel far for anything, or is that most things you can find?
I live quite close by to pretty much everywhere, except for like marina and stuff. So yeah, there's a masjid. I will leave that door over there, this one that I was just talking about, that one there, and then I'll just walk over here, and then I'm in the masjid. Like from the apartment all the way down, if the lifts are both working, 4 minutes. 5 minutes.
How family friendly would you say this area is? Because we've been out for a minute now, and people usually think, oh wait, Dubai, you're just going to see half-naked people absolutely everywhere.
No, nothing like that.
I haven't seen a single person. And like we've been recording, we've been walking around.
Yeah, there's always youths here. It's really hot right now, so they're not out at this minute, but and maybe it's a bit early. But the masjid, it attracts obviously kids from everyone's kids. It's like the guy will come and he'll take his kid, and another guy will come and he'll take his kid, and those kids will not pray and meet each other because they're like 5 years old or whatever.
Okay, cool.
So there's always a lot of kids here.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what areas of the UAE have you lived in other than Jeddah?
Okay, so I lived in Al-Quoz. That was my first place that I moved to.
Why does it sound like a juicy story?
It is a juicy story, but I don't know how honest you want me to be. Because
I want you to be completely honest.
There's not everything is sunshine and rainbows. There is
certain
issues.
This is exactly what we want. This is the purpose of the show.
So so first things first is that I don't regret moving to the UAE.
Okay.
In any capacity.
Okay.
Every single thing that I'm about to mention is inconsequential compared to living in the UK.
Okay.
Okay. These are all issues or problems or things to look out for, but it's not. I wouldn't rather.
They're not deal breakers.
Yeah, I would not rather live in the UK as opposed to. I'd rather part with these problems than live in the UK.
Go on first.
So, for example, when I lived in Al-Quoz, I hadn't realized it at the time, but you basically pick your neighbors based on the neighboring, let's call it workforce.
Explain that.
So Al-Quoz is an industrial area. There's a lot of factories there. There's a lot of guys who they work in warehouses there.
Yeah.
So they're basically laborers, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm not classist, so I don't hate laborers.
Yeah.
Laborers are my guys, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. But you have to remember that most of the laborers in Dubai, particularly Dubai, they're from India.
Yeah.
And most of the people from India are Hindus.
Right.
So if you live in a place that is surrounding laboring areas, there is a very good chance that your building will have a lot of Hindus in it. Now, we don't see each other. They're not my neighbors in a sense where I know them personally and we always talk to each other and stuff. But they're not always friendly to Muslims. They have to be because
they're in a country that's
the UAE is Muslim, but they're not always nice. Or
interesting.
Yeah, I'm not saying this because for the sake of it, it's not dogma, but of the non-Muslim groups, the Hindus are the most hostile to Islam.
Okay.
They're the most hostile to non-Muslims.
You're talking about in general?
To Islam. No, I'm talking about just personal day to day.
Okay.
Right? I'll have a guy who's he's Russian, so he's maybe atheist or maybe he's Christian or something, but he's sweet. Yeah. He's nice. Maybe he's, obviously I'm not saying we're buddy, but he's cool. He's all right. I'll have another guy who's atheist or another Christian kind of people, and they're all really sweet. And the Hindu guys are all like, it's a stush kind of attitude. I don't really like it.
Let's quickly.
I don't know. Shall we get in and keep it?
Quickly discuss the car.
Okay.
And then we'll drive and carry on. So, have you driven the Camaro?
I've never driven the Camaro before in my life.
So this was the car we had available today. 6.2 litre V8 naturally aspirated engine, American muscle, massive spoiler, quad exhausts, matte black. It's wrapped matte black. It's not actually matte black.
Oh, legit.
And it's got the biggest engine of any car on our fleet.
Yeah.
And
my association with this is that it was the car in Transformers.
Yeah. Many of you guys say to me the biggest thing stopping you from doing Hijrah is money. So before we start driving the car, there's something important that I want to share with you. I mean, look, let's be real. Most people don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars lying around in order to invest in a property and get residency that way. Likewise, most people don't have the qualifications or experience necessary to land a high-paying job here. So what do you do then? Well, you can do what I did, which is setting up a business here. But then the question arises, what business would you set up? And that's where I want to introduce you to the Influencer Marketing Agency Accelerator. In essence, you arrange brand deals for influencers and you get a cut of the money, even if you have zero business background. There are brothers who signed up just 2 months ago from the first podcast we did on the Righteous and Rich channel, and some of them have already made back their money and more. One brother made $9,000 already in just 2 months. But as always, I have to warn you, number one, it's not cheap. And number two, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You have to put in the hard work. And then, inshallah, you will get the results with the permission of Allah. But with that said, I'll leave 2 links in the description. For those of you that are ready and eager to sign up now, you can click the link to sign up. For those of you that want to learn a little bit more about Brother Abu Lahia who runs it, I'll leave the link to the podcast we did with him on Righteous and Rich. With that said, let's get back into the car and back into the conversation. So look, we're not even at summer yet, right? And temperatures are already starting to
It's very hot.
climb, let's just say. How do you deal with the heat?
I love it.
Yeah?
I don't complain about it. I have no complaint. I've got nothing about the heat that I dislike. So obviously everybody is different. Some people, they can't stand hot. They prefer cold because they can remedy cold by wearing warm clothes.
Yeah.
But you can't really remedy hot because even if you take your clothes off, you're still gonna just be hot.
Yeah, you say.
Whereas for me, I like the heat, bro. Heat is sick.
So I'm the same.
Yeah.
Like living 26 years in the cold, wet,
Yeah.
weather in the UK, I love the heat.
Yeah.
The only thing that when people ask me, I say, bro, I love it. Even in the summer, like my wife likes to go back,
Yeah.
spend time with family, etc. Get away from the heat. Me personally, I love it. I'd go drop her off 2-3
Yeah.
days, and I'm back here. Because look, number one, in your apartment you got AC. Every building you go to, there's AC. In your
Yeah.
car, there's AC. It's only when you're walking in between that it can be an issue.
Yeah.
The only exception to that for me is when you leave a car in the heat and you have to come back to it.
Yeah, that's...
Those first few minutes, it's a mazza. Right now, it's not. Right now, it's only 40 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm talking when it hits 50.
Yeah, 45,
And your car's been
46,
out,
it's hot,
and you
bro,
come back
it's
in your
really hot.
steering wheel. It's like
You can feel
hot
it.
cold.
Yeah.
Just, like some people might wait for it to, but I can't wait. I can't.
Yeah,
So
just
I
gotta drive,
literally,
innit?
I just hold it.
Yeah.
Or I choose my knees.
No, I will adjust the vents so they point towards
point at
the steering wheel, and then I'll move like this.
Yeah.
And then
And then you got your back as well.
yeah, no, bro, it's hot. It's hot. It's hot.
Cooled seats.
Yeah.
Are,
There's no doubt about it.
Extremely
Yeah,
important,
they're like ventilated, right?
anyway.
That's good driving, bro. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I've had.
This has
I've-
a reversing camera, but
Okay.
no sensors. So don't keep
Don't
going.
wait for it to beep.
Waiting for a beep, and you're gonna hear a crash instead.
Sorry. So I would have liked to show you the first place that I lived in, Uncle's, because to be honest, it depends on all of these things with regards to your tolerance of stuff is all based on your personality.
It's relative, yeah.
Yeah, there are some things that I just personally can't stand, and there are some things that other people would not mind, right? So, for example, one of my neighbors, before my previous contract, one time, basically all of the buildings will have a garbage chute. So I would take out the bins, right? I'm going to take out the bins. I don't really have a sleep schedule, so I like sleep whenever. I have one now, but I didn't have one before. And so I'm going to take out the bins at 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m., yeah? And I'm walking past my Hindu neighbor's house, and they're having a shubs.
I should.
Yeah, they're having a party, bro. Like, you can hear the mingling, you can hear the music and everything. And I'm like, bro, alhamdulillah, thank God I don't live right next to this guy. But if I did, I would be, you know, you'd have to hear from me. So yeah, that's an example of something that might actually affect you. But I have never experienced anything like that from any other group of people. Yeah. But like I said, that's all. These are relative things because the scale of what you're going to have to put up with from your neighbors will change based on how much money you pay. So
Yeah.
if you pay a lot of money to live in a really expensive place, you're going to have a different problem because you might have like Russian prostitutes living in your building. Do you get it? It just depends on where you decide to live, right?
Yeah.
And that will be way more frustrating because it's like visual. I can't do anything to avoid this. They're just always walking in and out. Alhamdulillah, my building, nothing like that. But
You can just move to Sharjah.
yeah,
Which is what I recommend.
yeah. So
Did you consider Sharjah?
I did.
What were the main reasons why you said no?
In the beginning or the second time? Because I've only considered moving twice. The first time when I came to the UAE and the second time when I got turfed in my first place. So the first time, I didn't know anything about Sharjah.
Okay.
In fact, I stayed in Sharjah in Muwayla for like a month.
Okay.
It was nice. I didn't have an issue about it. But I didn't know the processes of like what it would be like to live in the UAE, except for like pretty much all of my experience was in Dubai. And we'd come like, I don't know how many times, bro. Many, many times. And the first long stretch was like 3 months. So in total, I probably had like 9 or 10 months of broken up experience in the UAE across those like 6 or 7 years before I eventually came. And so I was like, bro, I like it in Dubai. It's great. I've got nothing really to complain about. Why would I not go? Okay, so I was speaking to a guy literally maybe 2 or 3 days ago, so a lot of this information is fresh in my mind. But basically, when you eventually come, you will have your pick for where you want to live. Not just in terms of budget, because basically Dubai has
it has both sides of the spectrum. If you have very, very, very little money, you can live in the UAE. Yeah, exactly.
Like 200 dirhams a month.
Exactly.
300 dirhams a month.
That's like basically £40, £50.
And if you're a billionaire, you can get a
house
multi-million
for 250 million dirhams. There's a yard for like 50 million pounds,
exactly.
For example, right? So the spectrum is totally wide. You can live wherever you want according to your budget.
That's why it's so hard to answer questions like, how much does it cost to live in the UAE?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I can tell you how much I pay. I can't tell you how much it costs for everyone.
What's your living expense?
So I think it cost me about £2,000 to live here.
A month?
All told, yeah, everything.
That's actually not too bad.
Yeah. So, yeah, everything, pretty much 2K. But the amount that's going to change is based on groceries. So if you have more people, you will have to pay obviously more. But that's similar to the UK as well. You know, if you have, if you've got a wife, you've got kids and stuff, naturally you will have to pay more money for groceries anyway. But
how have you found driving in the UAE? A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm worried about driving on the other side of the road."
I love it.
No, but in terms of like the actual learning how to drive on the other side, yours is quite an interesting story because you passed your driving test. The first time you drove after passing driving was in the UAE.
Yeah. Ferrari Roma. Yeah, that was the first one.
When I passed this test, the first car you drove was a Ferrari Roma.
Yeah.
Do you go back to the UK often?
I haven't been back for nearly a year now, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
I stayed in the UK for pretty much the whole summer last year, and I was like, not to be deep, but I've expended my reasons to be here. I have no reason further to be here.
Oh, wow.
I waited for the new iPhone. I went and I bought the new iPhone, and then I was like, that's it. I'm going home now. See you guys later. And then to be honest, things just keep popping up. So late, it was the winter. Obviously, we had September, October, November, and then in December, I travelled.
Taking an exit with them.
Yeah, I went somewhere in December, and then after that, it was like a couple months later, Ramadan came. So pretty much, there's just things just keep happening. But essentially, I haven't been back to the UK for nearly a year.
Have you ever had it? So I guess you probably wouldn't have had it happen where you forget which side of the road you need to be driving on.
No.
It's happened to me a few times.
Oh really?
Yeah. Even recently, I was there a couple of weeks ago, and
These little pops and bangs.
Bro,
Yo.
put it in sport mode. You hear them?
I don't know where the sport mode is.
Yeah, and now if you just tap your foot on the all to end and back, it will activate performance shift mode. So you just tap it.
Oof! Oh, outside.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you're in the manual mode, so it's not going to engage. How have you found community-wise here? How have you found that? Because that's one thing that a lot of people say, that they feel there's a lack of community here as opposed to the West.
I think I'm somebody who struggles with that as well. So basically, Dubai is not, because Dubai is really small, it's a really small city overall. If you come here, you'll have this feeling. And also, if you've never been here, this is what it's going to be in your mind. Is that Dubai is this one single color city. Everything is exactly the same everywhere. In every area. It's not like that at all. Dubai is like small towns, all right next to each other. They have roads that connect them. But Barsha is not like Al Quoz. And Al Quoz is not like Al Jadaf, where we just left from. Do you see what I mean? They're all different. They have different vibe, different community, everything is different. And the only way I've really gotten to know my local community is through the masjid. Because you'll see people, and obviously naturally people are shy, but I'm not shy at all. So I'll say, Assalamu alaikum, what's your name? For example, one of the guys in my masjid, his name's Aziz. He'll be like, yo, yeah, Assalamu alaikum, what's your name? My name's Aziz, etc. Just make friends,
So the masjid, you say, is the focal point. That's where the community builds.
Pretty much. At least for me, because if I don't, the other place that you can make friends or you can build community would be like your workplace, and they have something in common, which is that it's a place that you have to go to.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's good to go to the masjid, even if you believe you don't have to. It's still good, but obviously, if you have to go, you're going to see people. You might as well make friends, And it's the same story for work. It's the same story for school. That's kind of how these things start off. Later, you get to know people, and you're like, bro, even if we didn't go to the same masjid, I'll still link you.
Yeah.
But that's how it starts. Basically.
So if you just tap the accelerator, don't hold it in. No, see that performance shift active.
I see.
So now it will like hold the higher gear, it will hop and bang more.
Don't forget it's rear-wheel drive.
So I was gonna say rear-wheel drive.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you kind of found wasn't as you thought it would be living here in the UAE?
So I didn't really have many expectations, to be honest. The only thing, I don't know if I should be proud to admit this. The reason I came here was for the weather.
For the weather?
Yeah. So obviously you get this sunshine type of weather in many places. So there isn't, the UAE is not the only option.
Spain.
Yeah, or
Which is
Morocco.
closer.
Morocco.
Oh, Morocco is the closest Muslim country.
Yeah. But especially if you're South Asian or Pakistani, let's say, right? This applies to everyone, but especially if you're Pakistani, which is, if you're Pakistani British, the UAE is the easiest country for you to move to from the Muslim lands, let's say.
What's that statement?
What I mean is that, so if you're British, you speak English, which is pretty much what everybody in Dubai speaks. Outside of Dubai, perhaps less.
No, it's English.
It's the same in Sharjah, right?
Yeah. English. Bro,
no, I'm just saying, if you decide to move to like Al Ain, there's going to be people that don't speak English, for example, right?
Nah,
bro, they speak English there
everywhere. I've been to Al Ain, I've been to Al Sakhib, I've been everywhere. And I would say that number one, English. I would say number two, Urdu will get you further than Arabic here because of the fact that there's so many Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi workers who all speak some version of Urdu, Punjabi, Hindi.
That's exactly my point.
And
if that's what I'm saying, if you're Pakistani and British, you have ultimate, let's say like your character's maxed out. Your meeting people character, your stats are pretty much to the top because you have the ability to basically meet with and talk to anyone.
Unless you're British, Pakistani, unless you're British, half Pakistani, half Arab.
Yeah, then it's like you unlocked it. You unlocked it. That's it.
Why are you still in the UK?
Yeah.
You need to come here, bro. Come here yesterday.
Yeah. So I didn't really have many expectations coming in. I just didn't want to live in the UK anymore. My living situation, when I was living at my house, my parents' house, I was just ready to just go.
So you haven't been back for a year?
Yeah, nearly, yeah.
So you haven't seen a nitty in a year?
Thank God.
Wow.
Alhamdulillah, bro.
Do you think you're going to stay in Jeddah for the foreseeable future so you can just pop anywhere here?
I do quite like it. It's nice. It's a good area. I'm down to consider Sharjah though, like anywhere in Sharjah.
Really?
There's a lot of places. Yeah, I mean, bang for your buck as well, considering. Because you have to think about what the area gets you other than just the apartment itself. So if it's the amenities, how much do I really care about living in Dubai? Answer is not that much.
With that said, let's jump into the podcast, inshallah. And don't forget, guys, if you want to rent this car or any other supercar, luxury car, whatever car it is, make sure you hit up Premier Supercars Dubai. Link will be in the description, and you can use the discount code TRTH, the road to Hijrah, for 15% off any rental. Let's get into it, inshallah. So, Abbas, when did the idea or the thought of Hijrah first enter into your mind?
So I never really thought about Hijrah. I just wanted to move to Dubai.
Okay.
Hijrah is like it comes out because when you decide to move to the UAE, it's like, or when you decide to move anywhere, the reasonings for why are all going to circle your actions, because there's going to be things that are difficult. You're going to have to save, especially here, you're going to have to save some money. You're going to have to tell your family goodbye. And, you know, I'm actually not coming back. I have no intention of returning. Obviously, if I do come back, it's something that I didn't plan, but I'm not planning on coming back. So I didn't really think about Hijrah, but I just wanted to move to Dubai, bro. I came here, I think, for 4 days in 2017. It was a last minute trip. I booked the flight. I've told the story bare times, but I booked the flight the night before and I came with it. I think you remember, right? And we went around to different places. I think we stayed in a hotel in Barsha, and then we stayed in a hotel somewhere else. And then the trip was over. But I knew at the end of that, I was like, I have to move here.
From that first trip?
Yeah. I was like, I have to move here. This place is sick.
Why?
I don't know. I just, the vibe, also it was the winter. I went in, I'm telling you, I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if I'm the only one, but the weather has a very significant part to play in this. So when I left the UK, it was raining. I came here, it was sunny. And when I went back to the UK, it was raining. So there was some pattern recognition going on there, you know? I obviously don't hate the rain. I think the rain is great. It's just, I don't want to always have to experience the rain, especially if I don't have to, you know? And then the concept of Hijrah, like leaving for the sake of me and my, you know, my future family and stuff, I have to really think about
what I'm looking forward to. And you know, when I came, it was around the same time you came. When we came, it wasn't that bad in the UK as it is now. I'm not saying that bad as in it was tolerable. I just mean it's getting worse. It just every year it just seems to get worse and worse. The prognosis, like what it's going to be like for you moving forward in the UK. And then I was like, okay, if it's Hijrah, it has to be like Hijrah, meaning like I'm not coming back. As in, I'm not going to the UK. You know, like a lot of Brits and a lot of expats, it's like I'm going to go for a couple of years and see my career opportunities, and then when I get bored, I'll come back. It's not like that for me. I'm here. Or if I'm here, I mean here in the Muslim lands. I don't intend on going back to the UK. If I do, you know, it just depends on the situation, but I'm not planning it, you know.
Okay, so up until that trip, that fateful trip, 2017, you saw yourself just living in the UK.
Bro, every day I was on Rightmove's app looking at flats that I can move to. There was a flat on my parents' road, like 5 or 10 doors down. It's like £850 a month. I was so ready to just, let me move here. This 1-bedroom flat or like studio flat or something. Yeah, no, I was down to stay in the UK forever. I'd never even thought about it. And to be honest, Imran and Saad kept talking to me about Dubai. They were like, yeah, bro, Dubai. Now it's like it's at the top of people's minds. Right back then, I hadn't even thought about it. I was just like, yeah, they got the Burj Khalifa there, the world's tallest building. That's it. I hadn't heard about anything, nothing. It wasn't like a hot topic, you know? It was only after I came that I was like, this is it. I have to come here.
What was the purpose of that trip? Like, what made you go on that trip? What was the motivation behind going on that trip?
So I don't have any money back then.
Okay.
And I think the flights were £300, and the night before I had just made £300. So I was like, I guess I'm just gonna have to blow it on this trip then, innit? Just gonna have to go, just figure it out on the way. Just
as in, was it like was it a leisure trip? Was it a work trip?
Yeah, it was a leisure trip. Yeah, I think for Imran, because they wanted to come. And they were meeting some investors for Knowledge College at the time. And that was their intention. And they were just like, hey, do you want to go? Obviously, I'm not privy to the investing thing, but I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, before that, I hadn't gone on a flight for like 10 years, you know. I had not even flown for ages. The prospect of going on Kuwait Airlines and then waiting in the airport for 9 hours to get my connecting flight to Dubai, it was exciting. I was like, oh, don't worry, I'll be in the airport as long as they got Wi-Fi, everything's gonna be great. It wasn't that great, but it was fine. But it was for me it was a leisure trip. I was just going around just experiencing as much as I could. I didn't even have a driving license at the time, so we were just getting in taxis and doing different stuff. And I think for Imran and Saad, it was also a bit of it was work intended, but leisure associated. So every time that we're not meeting people for the sake of investment, every other time was just trying to, you know, go on motives and do stuff like that, which was great. It was a halfway holiday, you know.
So there's 2 points here that I really want to dissect. I want to take a deep dive on, right, that you mentioned. The first point is the importance of visiting Muslim lands.
Yeah.
Like, as you said, up until that trip, you had absolutely no idea this place even existed or how it was, what it was like, and so on and so forth. So it would never even have occurred to you.
Yeah.
Likewise with myself, I remember 2016, the first time I went for Umrah. And I landed, we went to Mecca first.
Okay.
You know, Ihram, and you're getting there, and it's just that experience that you get being around the Muslims. Adhan's out loud. Salah's prayed out loud. You're giving salam every single place you go. Everyone's smiling. You don't need to, like, there's Muslim-friendly facilities everywhere. You got istinja pipes every single toilet that you go to, right? There's wudu area, there's prayer rooms, there's so much, and it's an experience that it really does open your mind. I was the same as you. I would say I never really thought of myself as going abroad. I'd heard maybe there's one of my uncles, his friend had moved to Abu Dhabi. You know, you hear about it. You hear, okay, one uncle, I think even my friend moved, but I can't remember exactly when. But I just never really considered it for me.
Yeah, no, most of the people that I'd heard that had moved to the Gulf were all my relatives from Pakistan. So like my mum's brother, my auntie's husband's brother, a few other people they moved to, like for example, Abu Dhabi similar, or one of my uncles moved to Riyadh. Those kind of things. I've heard about that, but I'd never really heard about people from the UK going to the Gulf, especially. Things is different now, though. The whole culture is Dubai focused. People talk about Dubai a lot now.
No, yeah.
And I'm not a hater by default, so I would have heard about it and I would have thought, okay, is this for me? And I think inevitably I would have come here anyway. But it was nice that my first experience was on the ground, like experience, not seeing it on YouTube videos or hearing people talk about it. It was a feeling. Like when I got the vibe, that's when I decided it.
And that's the thing, right? That's what I tell people to do as well. Is if you're thinking about Hijrah, or even if you're anti-Hijrah and you say you're a, fish and chips, UK, the British and whatnot, at least give it at least do it justice and at least visit these Muslim countries. And when I say visit, just to be clear, I'm not saying come as a tourist and stay in tourist hotspots like downtown Marina, where you're going to find tourists from other countries who have come also, and inappropriately dressed people, and there are clubs and pubs and so on and so forth there. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying come as a resident. Find an Airbnb in a residential area.
Yeah, you should consider it like a recon trip. Like you're here to scout the area, figure out what you like and what you don't like. It's not a holiday, really.
Because I find that a lot of people who are very critical of a lot of Muslim countries, they never visited, never been. They're just based on what they hear and what they see online on social media, or what they hear other people saying and criticizing. But it's get a taste for it yourself. If then it's still not your cup of tea, no problem. As long as you say, oh, look, I went around, I tried this area that people recommended. I asked people who lived there already, they said, okay, cool, you want to avoid this, and this, live in this area. I tried it. It still wasn't for me. No problem. Now at least you've got a taste of it, but also your theories, your opinions are now based on actual experience, anecdotal experience, rather than he said, she said. Right. The second point that I want to tie this into as well is the power of having the right people in your life.
Yeah.
People who are willing to think big where you might not be. Because I'll give you another example, like going back to the previous thing that I mentioned about my first Umrah experience when I went to Umrah. That was because of, again, Imran and the brothers were going.
Yeah.
And Imran's dad actually paid for me to go.
No way.
First ever Umrah in my life. I'd never been to Saudi Arabia before that. And that opened that door for me. And that then triggered in my mind, like,
they're a very generous group, them lot, isn't it?
Yeah. Wallah, may Allah bless uncle, man. Wallah, that man, and mashallah, may Allah, that guy has. Bro, even my first few trips to Dubai.
Don't, we're together on the owing him part. I owe him a lot, bro.
even my first few trips to Dubai, like, it was through him. May Allah bless him. Abundantly give him more than he's given to us. But that concept, even then, for example, after that first Umrah trip, 2018, I believe it was, we set up 5-star Umrah. Again, that was because of the brothers that I was around. Saad, Imran, Guled Azol was there. And I wouldn't have, you can't say what would have, because I see people say this online. They're like, oh, if it wasn't for your British passport, you would never even be there in the first place. So be grateful to the UK.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, hold on. There's a few things to dissect there. Number one, we don't know if something happened, how it would happen. Only Allah has knowledge of that. We can't say that how it would, because the way I see it, my personal belief is, my risk is written for me.
Yeah.
Allah would have given it to me no matter where I was, how I was. Because I know people that are here that are on Pakistani passports that are millionaires.
Yeah.
That are richer than me and you combined. And I know people, not firsthand, but you see them on the streets in the UK, the nitties.
Yeah.
How many
of them
are
British, they're white.
They're British.
As in, like, your ancestors have, you guys tamed this land. You're addicted to crack today.
And you were born with a British passport. And there are many people that are regular families living in Britain that are below the poverty line, that are using food banks.
Yeah.
Is it because, why did the British passport not help them suddenly jump up? Because it's not because of your passport. And I find this to be like a weak mentality that people have. You're finding other factors, external factors, to attribute someone else's success to.
Yeah.
For you, it's like, oh, he only did that because of his passport.
Yeah, because for them, they can use that same othering for blame. Say, as in, it's because of this.
It's because of this that I can't do that.
Yeah.
Because I would ask you, if you got a British passport, why are you not in the same position that you see other people with British passports in? Like, that for me don't make sense. For me, the ultimate attribution has to always come down to Allah.
Yeah.
Allah did it, and He would have done it. He would have done whatever He wanted, regardless
I
of...
could be passportless.
Passportless, even, or whatever else it might be, right? But the concept of, would I be where I am today without the influence of the brothers, yourself, Saad, like Saad was the first one to take that step.
Bro.
He opened that door.
Bruv.
Would I be
Credit
here?
has to be given to Saad.
That's what I'm saying.
Not gonna lie. Yeah.
And before him, it was obviously Ustad Abdurrahman. He made the move. But even before that, the trips we were making, coming here, I'm saying, would I be in this position? I don't know. I would like to think so. I would like to see somebody online. I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. I need to make this move. Would I have? I don't know. definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, there has to be a lot of props given to having the right people in your life.
Sure.
What do you think?
Definitely. No, 100%. I think I wrote about this one time. Basically, sometimes it's important for you to say yes to new experiences. Your life is going one way, and then somebody invites you to something, or somebody tells you should try something. Just go ahead. Just go along with it. Just say it. Just see what, you never know what's on the other side of that.
Especially if you're young, unmarried, no responsibilities, living at your parents' house.
Opportunity. Just so much stuff can happen. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. So many things can happen, and you want to just see what's available, what's going to happen. And shaking things up a little bit and trying new things, definitely a major component. And that's for me, because this life that I have right now, in some way, shape or form, I have to attribute it back to, like what you're saying, my friendships, people who I'm around, because their ideas and so we all, if we sit together and we, put our minds together towards an idea, or even people just suggesting alternative things, it's like, it's good. It helps to create a new mentality. You can kind of come up with new ideas and stuff.
So look, you was on this trip, 2017, and you said that you were broke. Tell us a little bit more. Like, what was your actual situation at that time when the idea first came to your mind?
To come to Dubai.
Yeah, like what was your situation? Like, were you working? Were you not working? Were you?
I wasn't working.
Okay.
No, I had just finished university.
Okay.
So I just finished uni, and I was living in somewhere. I wasn't living at home. And what happened is the brothers were just like, yeah, we're going to go to Dubai. You're going to have to come with us. And I was like, I don't have the money. And they were like, oh. And Imran and Abdus just started Sunnah Match.
Right.
They just launched it, right, on Instagram. And they asked me to make a landing page for them. So I was like, okay, I want to go on this Dubai trip. The flights are £309. Okay. 309 is a bit awkward. So we paid me £300 to make this landing page. And they were just like, yeah, if the money comes in, yeah, sure. And it was a weird contract, but sure. I was like, yeah, cool. So I made the website for them, and they got sign-ups, and then they paid me £300. And I was like, yeah. I think I asked my sister for a loan for a tenner. I think I said, hey, listen, can you send me £10, please? This is a different time, bro. This is like nearly 8 years ago.
8 years ago.
And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, I know it's weird, but can you please just loan me a tenner? She was like, yeah, cool. So I booked the flights, and then I had £1. I didn't have anything else. I didn't have anything else left.
Let's make money together. If you're an investor with at least $100,000 liquid cash ready to invest, and you're looking for a halal opportunity managed by practicing brothers with a very strong track record, and of course a very high return on investment, then I've got something for you. Myself and Imran have partnered up with brother Sam Amin for a real estate development project here in Dubai. Well, I'm in Sharjah right now, but in Dubai down the road. I mean, to keep it short and simple, we're buying land, building an apartment development on top, and then we're going to sell it. But we're giving you guys the exclusive opportunity to invest in this project. You can expect around 50% returns in just 2 years. These are unheard of, because where regular developers will just go to their bank and get a riba-based loan. We can't do that. We have to put up our own money. And if it's not enough, we reach out to other Muslim investors interested in being a part of this journey. So if you're interested in that, there'll be a link in the description down below. You can book a call with brother Sam, go through all of the documentation, all of the projections, everything you could possibly want is on the website. And then, of course, you can book a call with brother Sam. With that said, let's get back into the episode. So when you got back to the UK now, you've got this desire, this urge, did you take any action straight away towards this goal? Or was it kind of just back to regular life?
No, everything had changed for me. There's a bridge that you cross in your life, and you know that your old life is over. And for me, it was this Dubai trip.
So what happened when you got back?
It wasn't even necessarily I didn't know what actions to take. I just knew this is the new objective. This is the new goal. This is what I'm focused on, And then inevitably, I was just like, I was looking for because remember 2017, that was before we made that 3-month trip.
Yeah.
So in 2018 was when we made a 3-month trip, right? And I think when I arrived back, I was grinding with Imran. We were doing Knowledge College, and we had a few other different projects and stuff. And I was just thinking, okay, cool. We just have to make this bang. This has to bang. And then as a result of it banging, I'm just going to move to Dubai, right?
But talk to me about that, because I feel like there's many people that are watching this that are in the same position that you were in back then. They just graduated.
Yeah.
Don't even have a job right now.
Yeah.
They would love to move to a Muslim country.
Yeah.
So you said you started grinding with Imran. What does that look like?
So we had projects that were already established. Imran had already started stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know how to help somebody who's starting something new for the first time.
But they can do what you did, which is find someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
talk to me about you exactly what you were doing.
Okay, perfect. So we had just met. We met before that, but we had just started working together like a few months prior before this November trip. So then, when this trip was over, I was just trying to learn whatever I could to grow a business. Now I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to figure out how to grow a knowledge college. There was some. I think it was Muslim Survival Guide was around back then, like the original one.
Studying the Deen, I think, as well.
Yeah, we just did Studying the Deen that summer, the summer that rolled over, the 2018 summer. It's a funny story about that as well. And I was just focused. I was like, bro, listen, this has to grow. You know, we had a few different people working there at the time. I took the role of manager. I was like, I'd never done any management before in my life. But I was just like, yeah, we have to make sure these targets are hit and grow the company by this much and, you know, get this many more signups and keep these people, whatever it took basically for us to, I didn't really pick a specific role or specific task. I was just focused on growing the business.
How did you even get that job in the first place?
I don't know. I think it was by accident. I think I was just, Imran was like, yo, you seem like an analytical guy. Do you want to do this? I was like, yeah. And then in the beginning, I was like doing it just like pro bono. And then afterwards, I was like, bro, I have to survive. So I got wage.
So that's key there, I think. You mentioned in passing, but I feel like that's the most powerful point there, which is you were willing to do work for free at the beginning. You found someone that's already got something going on.
Yeah.
So look, I've got certain goals I want to reach. I believe that you could be the vehicle to help me reach those goals. I'm willing to give you value for free.
Yeah.
I will do whatever it takes. By the time you weren't in a particular role, you just said, bro, whatever it is, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Just point me in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'll learn it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
All I know is I need to provide maximum value now for nothing in return, because I know that, as Allah tells us in the Quran, that هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان. Is there a reward for ihsan, for really going out of your way, for coming with not perfection, but the best that you can do? Excellence,
yeah.
Except you'll get some kind of excellence in return.
Yeah.
And that isn't to say that you should go into relationships or transactions thinking, you know, I'm going to give this and I'm going to get this in return. No, just give and expect the reward from Allah. Allah will give it to you. Whether it's from this person or 10 years down the line from someone else, somewhere else, you will get it.
Yeah.
That I think is key. And I feel like a lot of people lack that.
No, I was willing. I liked the project and I liked working with the brothers. So I was just ready to just do whatever. And it grew to be really frustrating later on. But in the beginning, I was ready to do whatever. I was just like, you know what? Whatever needs to be done, I'll just do it, you know? Talking to this person, talking to that person, getting this part, making sure. Because you know what? For Imran as well, remember, he'd done this entrepreneur thing longer than me, much longer, in fact. So for him, he had like a model of how it would work in his mind. And me working under him, I would have to make sure that it would fit to how he liked it, even if I would have done it a different way. Do you see what I mean? Yeah.
How does this is an interesting question, right? Something that I've actually given thought to, because my situation was very similar to yours.
Yeah.
I came in, I work for free, bro, whatever it is. I started off doing the register, then became a driver, then, you know, everything, like events hosting, event management, like eventually to now shareholder, you know, and very similar journeys.
Same, yeah.
How does a person go about finding someone to have that kind of mentor-mentee relationship? Because it's hard. It's not easy to get in. Like, even let's use Imran as an example, bro. It's very hard to get. Like, how many people have tried to get into that circle and they haven't been able to do so? How many people now like will even DM? I mean, I get people DMing me now, and like asking for, you know, his guidance and help. And I try to help wherever I can. But for someone to get in, it's like you got a 0.01% chance.
Very small, yeah.
At the same time, remember, I want this podcast to be as practical as possible.
Yeah.
But I would like to hope it isn't just, oh, it happened by accident. Or it just, you know, like, what are
No, but you have to remember that some of these things...
There is an element of qadr.
Yeah,
without a shadow of a doubt, that comes
as in
into place.
The unplanned.
The unplanned.
Something that you can't really
control.
Predict. Yeah, exactly.
But there are definitely, I feel like, steps that one can take.
Yeah. I think that certain personalities are more compatible than others. And what I mean is for the goal in particular. So what you just mentioned, which is that I was willing to work for free because I know this can turn into something later. I didn't really think about the later part. I was just willing to work for free because the business can become something bigger. Does that make sense? I was ready to, and then we spoke about like salaries and stuff at the time. I just knew that if I can grow this and I'm responsible for growing it, I don't expect Imran to short me on that. Do you see what I mean? I could expect that he was going to have some kind of... And to be honest, my goals at the time were really small because I owed somebody money. It was £1,846.
Okay.
It's a very painful loan that I'd taken at the time. I don't take loans anymore. But when I was 18, I had done. And paying that 1,800 back, the brothers, they saw me and they were like, bro, I can tell this is eating this guy's life up. Let's offer him some money. And they offered me £200. And then after that, I was like, can we round it up to £300 so that I can pay this loan off for 6 months? You know? And then they were like, yeah, sure. Maybe I should ask for 5. But yeah, so that's what I mean when I say personalities will gel well together for the goal. If you're looking for a particular objective, which is you want your situation to improve or something like that, you have to leverage stuff so that it benefits other people as well. And eventually, like you said, this will come back to you. Now, the question you said of how to find a mentor, this is a tough one. I don't know if there's a
mentor, but how to find someone who will give you the opportunity to do what me and you basically did, which is come in, work for someone for free, show them how valuable you really are, go up the ranks, and then you will learn business, you will learn marketing, you will learn sales, you will learn, and now you're running your own business because of the experience that you got working with someone that already had their own business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how does one go about?
Okay, so Imran and me, we connected over da'wah. Not that I was interested in da'wah, but I just wanted to talk to him about his da'wah.
Yeah.
And he was willing to hear it, and we had known each other before because of the whole drive situation. That was that was another story. But these are examples of things that happen that are unpredictable. You can't. I'm ready in case something happens. I'm ready to drive my car. You know, you can't really predict that. You can't be ready for that. You know.
Okay, so. But do you feel like there are certain characteristics or certain things that you can do to put yourself in positions where you're more likely to encounter these situations? Because I think, for example, if someone that just sits at home all the time and never goes out, you're
opportunities not going to come.
Very rarely you're going to find this opportunity. You have to be someone who's like. I feel like this is a big part of it, right? I feel like one of the biggest things is not having fear of failure.
Yeah.
Because, for example, me when I first met Imran, I turned up to an event. It was an event. It was a small class, and you know, I went in, sat down. He was giving a talk, and I really, I liked the talk. I understood the talk. So when he was asking questions after, but my hand was going up straight away. I was answering like, I don't care what There was it was like sisters at the back, brothers at the front.
Yeah,
I didn't care what anyone thought of me. I didn't even care if I got it wrong.
Yeah,
I just thought, bro, I love this. I'm enjoying this, and I thought that caught his eye. Also, like, I think there was something like, I don't know, one of the questions asked me, I must have answered in a bit of a jokey way or answered a joke, made the class laugh, look, class clown kind of guy. And that kind of catches people's attention. So I feel like, that, for example, with the way we met, I won't go into this, a long story, but myself, Saad, and one of our Fatullah, we were basically stranded in Birmingham. So I must put on my story. I said, guys, we can't start anyone by any chance going to London anytime soon? We can jump in with you guys. You saw that, and you messaged me say, we are, myself and Abdul Samad, who is the other brother you mentioned earlier. We're going. We were actually planning to go tomorrow, but we could go tonight. If you guys are down, let's go. You took the opportunity when it came.
Yeah.
You went afraid. I could have said, no, bro. No, I don't want to come with you. But
no, I was expecting that, in fact.
I've already arranged something, or someone. But the point is, you saw the opportunity come, and you at least went for it. And I find a lot of people in this age, unfortunately, they don't have that mentality.
Yeah.
They're scared of what's someone going to think of me, what's someone going to say, what if I don't make it, what if I fail?
I don't really think like that. When I try something, I expect it to work out. I don't have to but
okay.
People have really criticized me for this. My family really hate this, but I always say it, which is that if I really want something, it's going to happen. I really believe that. I will make the art and I will put in the effort, and that's the recipe. I'll ask Allah and I will make the effort, and without fail, this thing is going to come.
Where do you think that came from?
I don't know. Maybe it's okay. You should have prepared me for some of these questions, because for the truth is, I have no idea how these character traits kind of come together.
For me, I feel like it was my father.
Okay.
He was someone who, bro, did not give a damn what anyone thought.
Nice.
Like, he would turn up to weddings with a mask on, bro, like a green mask. Like, he's the funny guy who'd pull up fireworks. Like he was very. He was not eccentric. Maybe eccentric isn't the right word, but it's like, but I am who I am, and I don't give a damn.
Yeah,
like
unapologetic.
Like I'm talking, like, bro, we sat on the train, and he would just, I recently saw there was a video. There's a guy, he's a comedian, and he's in a lift. He says lift trivia.
Okay.
And like everyone's in the lift. Like in the lift, people, it's the least social place.
Wow, I've never seen that.
He just turns around and he goes, "Okay, guys, lift trivia. Everyone, pay attention. First question: what's the capital of Malta?" And the guy gets it right. No, mate. The guy actually gets it right. He goes, everyone clap.
Yeah.
You got a prize. And it's just like suddenly everyone's like, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
Yeah.
But that was like that. He'd be on the train and he would just start making a conversation, or he would just start, just out of nowhere, like he would just start like. He would just do something. He was like, guys, let's have a pull-up competition.
Wow.
So, there's the bars on the trains.
Yeah.
Like we also start doing pull-ups, and everyone's watching what the hell's going on here. Like maybe this is probably looking back at it from a Islamic perspective wasn't the best, but let's just say there was someone doing like like you get what's it called, huskers or buskers? Buskers.
Yeah.
And they're doing the thing where okay, like go and dance, like in front of like so many people, and I'm like, right, like, go on, just do it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it back then, but the confidence that instills in you and trains you to like just do things.
No,
if somebody comes in front of you, just do it. I don't know how you can instill that in someone as an adult. I'll be honest with you. That I don't know.
Yeah, not me.
I would love to, and I think people should look into this, do a research. Maybe there's books written on it. I don't know, but that's something that I'm definitely trying to focus on with my son now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put that in him.
Yeah.
Something is in front of you. Just go and do it. Maybe not dance with the busking, but whatever it is, just go and put this in there. But even that, what I used to do, like when they used to do collections and whatnot, like in the
money.
Yeah, you used to take the money, you go and put it in there, or you go put it in the box and whatever. And that I feel like instills that in
definitely,
you. Are there any other characteristics? That's the one that comes to my mind.
I do that with my younger cousins and my brother as well. Because it's a similar situation. I just want you to. It's the outside of the comfort zone thing.
Mm-hmm.
You want to extend your comfort zone as far as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You only become comfortable with that stuff when you know it. Like when I kind of predict how this is going to go. And that's what I mean, which is that every time I know, like I said before, there's nothing that I'm going to try except that it's going to, if I try at something, I believe it's going to work out. I don't even think about the other possibilities. I don't think about if this doesn't work out, then I'll do this. If this doesn't work, then etc. Maybe from a strategic point of view, but not about how it's going to make me feel. How am I going to be scared of the ramifications? No, just do it.
There's definitely something that happened in your childhood, or something, or something bit. Maybe it was your father, maybe it was your mother, maybe it was an older relative, or maybe it was just, I don't know, through TV or something. You just saw, Goku and thought, "Wow, this guy's he keeps coming back. I'm going to keep coming back."
No, I think it's multiple role models, multiple. Inspirations. My dad's definitely one of them. My mom's definitely one of them. My cousin Nawaz, if you're watching this, he's definitely one of them. People they definitely aid to your confidence. They help build your character. 100%.
Okay, cool. Let me flip the question a little bit, because, like I said,
Imran's one of them as well, actually. So maybe it does work in adulthood.
Because, you're right. Actually, you're right.
Because I wasn't.
Me too.
Imran's a weird dynamic for maybe for you as well, but definitely for me, which is. He's more than just my dog, more than just my boy. Imran's like a mentor. Yeah. So it's a difficult relationship to define.
You're right.
Right? Which is that there was times where I just didn't know, and Imran, he literally taught it to me, explained it to me. Yeah. This is how you do this. This is how you do this, etc. And I don't know where he got it from, but then this time, I guess maybe this is the dynamic of friendship, right? Because then there will be times that I told him, so we kind of like work on our own. Like he brings his experience, I bring my experience, and it works together. But more so, it was him bringing it to me. Bruv, I'm a refined person today. I think in great part because of Imran.
So I would say where that value is for him, it's the life experience.
Yeah.
For you, to him, it's probably more technical experience, stuff that you've learned, stuff that you're good at, stuff that like from that angle. But from the life angle, it'll probably be from that way, because he's got age as well, right? There's a 7-year age gap. 7 years old, yeah. Okay, cool. So let me flip that question, because not everyone has that in their life. Not everyone may feel like they have an opportunity for that. Let's say you were to now come back from that same trip in 2017 today.
Yeah.
And you didn't have, there was no mentor, there was no knowledge college, knowing what you know now, for someone that's watching this, what would you say is the most realistic, or what's the fastest way that you believe someone could actually get into a position where they're able to make hijrah, or even if it's not hijrah, just move to a Muslim country for whatever reason?
So I think that your opportunities are directly correlated to how risk averse you are. So if you're really scared of failure, you're really scared it's not going to work out, then I'm not judging, like everyone's different, but what I mean is that you're going to want to be more prepared than you actually have to be. So if I was in 2017, knowing what I know now back then, I would just come and refuse to go. I would just make money every day and just live in Dira or whatever and just force it, etc. That's why in the beginning, when you mentioned Saad, I really want to focus on that. Saad actually suffered to be here. Like actually, with the whole COVID thing, and he came and he was not willing to go. He was just, bro, I'm here now. I'm not going to go back to the UK. I'm going to make it work somewhere or another. That's similar to what I would do. But I think that's my personality. I'm not risk averse. I actually don't care if it fails. I'm down to flop and go back and try again. I'm down for that. But what I mean is that specifically my specific skill set, like what I could actually offer, at the time I was doing web design, right? So I was making websites for people, like how I made the Cinematch one. I'll just do that en masse. I'll do that on social media. I'll do that on YouTube and stuff.
How did you learn that?
It's
Did you go uni? Did you study web design?
No, but I want to talk about the point after if I make this fun, right? The entrepreneurship resources now are more than they have ever been before, ever. I think in 2017, it was not as easy to find stuff on the internet or find people who are, social media personalities or whatever, who are doing entrepreneurship as obviously what entrepreneurship is very wide to consider. But what I mean is that people making money online, that was not as prevalent as it is now. Now it's like the amount of resources is so abundant. It's almost impossible for you to not know some of this stuff. It's almost impossible for you to, like for example, in 2017, I didn't know that I have to be on social media for my thing to bang. I have to make content. I have to do free valuable stuff. It was discussed at the time. I think Gary Vee had this book, Jab, right hook. Imran told me about it at the time. Right. And they call it free valuable content. Now we just call it content. But back then it was called free valuable content. Right. But it wasn't like in your face. Now it's like undeniable, bro. Like, bro, now even my 12-year-old brother, he knows that if, for example, he plays games naturally, as you can imagine, he's 12, right? And I was talking to him and he was like, maybe I'll be a gamer. I always engage these kind of thoughts, even though I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I just don't want to kill the guy's spirit, right? So maybe I'll be a gamer. I'll be like, okay, how'd you make that bank? And he's like, I would stream and I would get clips from my stream and I'll put those clips on TikTok. He's 12 and he knows the recipe. Do you understand? That's like he's understood something which I don't think was possible to be as prevalent in 2017. You would have had to work much harder to find the same formula to hear the same. You know, when something works, everybody says it because it works, right? And now there's more people saying it. There was less people saying it back then. They were still saying the same thing, but there was less. So it would have been harder to find. Now it's impossible, bro. You watch one Alex Hormozi video and you've got the whole recipe. You watch another I don't know, pick any one of these guys. Watch one of the video and you understand what to do.
I find a lot of people, though, for them, it's the opposite. They feel like, oh, now that everyone's talking about it, it's too late now.
Wow.
Why should I start?
That is so moist.
That's the type of mindset that will keep you in the same position that you're already in, or even decline, because if you're not growing, you're declining. There's no such thing as neutral. There's no such thing as staying in the same place. Yeah. If you're not growing, you are declining because the thresholds are increasing.
Yeah.
So you staying where you are, you might feel like nothing's moving, but actually the threshold increases. You're getting closer and closer to the bottom, and one day you will drown.
Yeah. No, I saw one video on the internet. It was where the guy was like, life is like one of those, that travelator in the airport, right? But you're facing the wrong way. So you're not facing the direction it's going, you're facing away from
opposite direction.
So if you walk, you're going to stay where you are.
Yeah.
If you run, you're going to make progress. But if you stop moving, you're going to go backwards, basically.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. So it's not sufficient for you to just keep going. Now you have to accelerate. You have to push it even further. And that's what I mean. So if I had come back in 2017 with the knowledge I have now, bro, we would not be having this conversation. It would have been, come to my yard, villa on the palm, and we can have the same conversation again.
you would have just dropped everything and made the move.
Yeah.
So I guess, like I said, as a single guy with no responsibilities, family,
that's what I'm saying, risk averse. Yeah.
Easy to do.
Yeah.
But say, for example, you got someone now who's watching this, they've got kids, they've got a wife, they've got a regular job in the UK, they just start making ends meet. What advice what would you say is the best way for someone like that to get themselves into a position without having to do a long thing, like without saying, bro, get a degree in this field and this and this, so on and so forth?
Okay. What's degree going to do for man? So I've actually spoken to bare guys exactly in this situation. So naturally there is, when I say the word risk averse, I don't mean you have more to prepare for. I'm talking about what's in your mind. You're worried about contingencies that haven't even happened yet. Whereas if you have kids and you have a wife, you know you have to get a place that's big enough for all of you. You know you have to find a supplement for your kids' education, whether it's homeschooling or sending them to a school here, finding an Islamic school, whatever it is. You know you have to find something for that. You know that you're going to have to figure out where to get groceries and stuff like that. When you're a guy coming here alone, you can make it for a week eating takeaway and stuff. But you don't want to feed your kids takeaway for a week or even 2 weeks, right? So definitely a recon trip is needed, 100%. And if you're watching this, then you can ask Abubakr, you can ask me, bro, if you come to the UAE and you say, hey, bro, I want to meet you, I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say, okay, just let me know in advance. If I'm free, I'll definitely link you. And whatever questions you have, like this, what we did today, where I showed you around the area, I'll do the same. I'll come, I'll show you around, tell you roughly what to expect for prices, things like that.
For brothers only.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Let's make that clear.
Yeah.
Sisters, hey, can you show me around?
No. If you're a sister, send your brother, send your husband or whatever, I'll show him around, no problem. That's an example of taking initiative. You know, you can't be scared to DM Abubakr or be scared to DM me, bro. Just send the DM and then see
put yourself in the mind of a person. Let's just say they're working a job. I don't know. Let's just say EE, for example. The guy works in EE.
Yeah, I worked at EE.
That's not really transferable.
Hey, did you ever work at EE or a phone shop in general?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
But I had a lot of friends that did though. But let's say, for example, the guy works in EE.
Yeah.
There's something that's transferable. So for you to just like, if you say, yeah, do a recon trip. I'll do a recon trip, but what am I going to do when I get here?
Yeah.
So that's my question.
Okay. So for work?
For work? Yeah. Like what is the point? What is the route that a person watching this should take that you feel like is the fastest way to get to a place where you're able to make enough money to do Hijrah? Whether it's through getting a job here and you feel like there's a particular route, guys, if you take this role, you're more likely to get a job here, or you can start making money as a solopreneur through this route that will help you eventually make Hijrah.
Okay.
The reason why, maybe I might be able to give you a bit of context.
Go on.
And what I was expecting you to answer.
Go on.
Which is through coding.
Yeah.
Right? Because the reason why this was in my mind when I asked the question initially is I remember in 2021 when we did the trip for like 5-ish weeks when we were moving here to do our visa and set up the company and stuff. You were with us, right? And at that time, you were working for a company that was based in the UK as a developer, working remotely.
Yeah.
So you were able to, and you were getting paid a very, very good salary.
Yeah, it's great.
And you were living with us. We had booked out like a massive 4-bedroom suite. It was like a hotel apartments kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I remember you bought an IKEA desk and had it set up in the corner of a massive monitor.
Bro, I went to IKEA in a taxi and I bought a desk and legs and it was like £20 max or something. And I was like, bro, I need a place to sit and work.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe you can be this, I don't feel comfortable mentioning this, but you were making around about $3,000 a month.
Around about
$3,000 a month. And as you mentioned on the way here that people would watch in the car, your current expenses are around $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
So you could have technically
just moved,
stayed in that job and just moved here.
Yeah.
I mean, look, so you went to uni. Not everyone goes to uni. But your job wasn't dependent on the degree.
No.
And that's what a lot of people feel like. If for me to get a job in this kind of country that actually pays high, I must have a degree.
No.
So let's talk about that, because I feel like that's a door a lot of people are sleeping on.
Yeah.
How did you get into coding in the first place? So talk me from 2017-18, you're doing this thing with Imran. When did you now get into coding?
Yeah.
And why at that point? Was it connected to, I need to go to Dubai, this is the fastest route, or just there was another path?
Sure. So in 2017 and 2018, what I kept saying to everybody is, I haven't found my thing yet. I don't know what my thing is. You know, like everyone's got a thing. Like this guy, he's got his thing. And
he's a cameraman.
Yeah, he's going that. Like, yeah, for a good example, Nasser at the time, he was doing camera work. He was making videos and stuff. And I saw him just going in deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's I was attracted to that kind of thing for
Sammy was a graphic designer.
Sammy was a graphic, yeah. He was. Saad was doing visual effects, motion graphics. Yeah, all of these different niches, and I was like, bro, I haven't found my thing. I don't know what my thing is gonna be. Like, what am I? I have all of these miscellaneous skills. Like, I'm a jack of many trades, right? But I don't know which thing I'm gonna go into. Even at the time, bro, Imran suggested Akifix.
Yes,
which was a project that's still around right now.
Fauzan, I think it was given to him. I don't know if he's actually doing anything with it.
Yeah. No, but what I mean is that was an example. Imran was like, "Oh, bro, you could do home repair, right?"
Yeah.
And I was willing. I was down to do it. Yeah, no, that's because that's something I learned when I was growing up. So I was down to do that stuff. I just hadn't found my thing yet. But I was still learning coding on the side because the salaries were really attractive, right? It was like, bro, you just have to land one place that's going to pay you, 30K a month, 30K a year. Month, that'd be crazy. 30K a year. Now you can see the new numbers that I'm thinking. They're going to pay you £30,000 a year, which is like, I think post tax is like 2.2, maybe £2,100. So I was like, yeah, I would love that. That'd be me. That would change my life. I'm going from making £300 a month to 2,000 plus. That would like. So I was attracted to it from the salaries perspective. But what really cemented it down for me was when Imran and I started Sunnah Match again, right? And then it was like, now you can make internet money. Internet money is not like salary money, bro. Because with internet money, it feels like, if salary money is like Coke Zero, internet money is like
crack cocaine.
Yeah,
It's a different type of
Coke with crack in it. Yeah,
no, it's just actually, it transcends Coke. It becomes cocaine.
Exactly, like it's another whole, because it's like, I need more of this. I'll do whatever it takes to get this, as long as I don't have to go back. That was the thing. So the prospect of, I don't have to go into an office and spend time, or go into work at all. That was a really attractive prospect for me, bro. I worked in loads of different places. The only industry that I never really worked was hospitality. But I worked retail, I worked in warehouse, I worked sales, phone shop. Although it wasn't big sales, but still. But it's sales. It is sales, bro. You get paid commission. It is sales. 100%. That's the job. And yeah, so getting into it is another whole thing, right? It depends what you get into it for. My recommendation is always to get into it to start your own thing, because the money you make is disconnected from all of these other factors. But fortunately, learning how to make your own stuff is the best way to get a job in the first place, right? You have all of this experience, commercial experience, so you even get paid for these projects, so that you can put down your CV, and then when you apply, people will know he actually knows how to make stuff, because that's what they care about. They're making stuff. Right. They need you to be able to make stuff as well. So qualification is just a signal that you will be good at making stuff, but they don't know for sure until they see stuff that you've made.
So you started building the Sunnah Match app.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, at the beginning, when you're doing your own thing, you're not going to get paid much. That's just a given, right? You're going to be working hard, blood, sweat, and tears into a project. It will take off eventually, if the formula's right, if the tawfiq from Allah is there, and so on and so forth.
I think the first time I got paid from Sunnah Match was £600.
How long after actually starting was it?
Month after.
Oh, that's actually quite fast.
But to be honest, I have this is the reason why I keep mentioning this. I have the fortunate benefit of the fact that it was Imran's project.
That was already started.
Yeah. As in,
so it wasn't off the ground.
It wasn't like from ground. This is one of the reasons why it's hard to give these. I always tell people, find somebody. Work with someone. Find somebody whose values your project aligns with, and give them a piece. Cut it with them. Because that guy, obviously, when he has skin in the game, which is that he gets to make more money from it, it will boost your project's growth, basically. Cool. Yeah. So
you came into Sunnah Match, you started building this app, and you're kind of learning on the fly. Yeah, like 100%. You're implementing things as you're learning.
Everything. It was all like a, what do they call it? Chewing gum and dental floss. And you just learn this and you stick this here. So stick that there.
Where were you learning from? Just very quickly, like as in internet. You know, like YouTube. So, did you take a course that you would recommend?
I did do some courses, yeah, but it's not like YouTube courses, but they're like 12 hours long. And you just watch it bit by bit over time. You reload the page and go back to this piece. I can link them if you want.
Right. Yeah. And so you're doing Sunnah Match. You're coding, learning as you go. So then, when it came to, you know what, actually maybe I can still do Sunnah Match on the side as I'm doing it, but let me get a full-time job because now I need more money. My responsibilities have increased, whatever it is. You were able to leverage the experience that you got at Sunnah Match, which was kind of your own thing, right? And you applied for a job and said, hey, I've got 2 years. Oh, how much experience did you have?
1 year. I think 1
So you said, I've got a year's experience coding and front end and back end and full stack and this and that. I did this and this.
Mm.
This is my experience. Yeah. So for them, it's like, they don't really care about degree, I find, in tech.
No, in the tech world, they don't care.
It's
they actually
experience
don't care.
And ability. And if you can demonstrate that by, like I said, building something yourself for a year, you can land a job.
Yeah. And bro, the guy who hired me, because basically this is what I recommend to everyone, right? Is you build something, and after you've built it, you make what I call a design document. So it basically puts in how you made it and the decisions you made. You just basically write about, it's almost like a little diary, bro. You just write in how you made this thing, why you chose this instead of that, why you, etc. And when I sent it, I said to him, I was like, this is the project I worked on, and here's the design document. And the guy even said, like, when he was introducing me to the other team members, he was like, this guy sent me a design document. It was so detailed, I couldn't help but hire him. I was like, wow, damn.
Wow.
It worked out in my favor.
Can we link that design document
Yeah,
below
sure.
so people can have a look at it if they wish?
Yeah, of course.
But for me, that's profound, because the reason why for me that's profound is because anyone can go and learn coding.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, you might disagree. I'm not in that space with now the advent of AI and stuff. Has that made it harder?
Change the game, 100%. But when you say harder, what do you mean? Do you mean harder to build your own projects or harder to get a job?
Either or.
Okay, so the get a job front has not recovered from 2022. 2022 was like a bloodbath of engineers, because Snapchat and Facebook and a few others, they just like laid off the bottom 20% of their engineering roster. And those people, obviously, because they're ex Snapchat or ex Facebook, they flood the rest of the market, the rest of the job market. So even normal jobs that are not looking for really experienced, really elite engineers, they're going to hire from this pool because there's so many more of them. That have
and those guys, because they just got laid off, they'll be willing to take the lower salary at this lower company, which they wouldn't have otherwise done before.
Yeah. So, and then the next thing that happened was AI coding tools came out, which kind of, basically, it just depends on where you decide to get hired. There are still loads of companies hiring and the market is still kind of recovering. But non-tech savvy companies, which you don't really want to work for anyway, they have this attitude of, we don't need to hire anyone. We can just use AI. It's a weird attitude. That will have its own correction in the months to come. But as of right now, it's not great. But that's not what I encourage, though. I always say, make your own project, make your own money. That's like, it's almost like it's like, for example, if you get hired to work for a gold panning company versus going out to search for your own gold. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you could hit it big, bro. It could be really huge for you. You know, your project could really disgustingly bang. That'd be great. And then on the other hand, even if it doesn't, you could make the same salary that you would have gotten in a job through your project. That's another opportunity, isn't it? You don't have to, it doesn't have to be this huge business that you're always growing. You know, you could start off at £1,000 a month and then grow it to 2K and then grow it to 2.5K, 3K. It doesn't have, you don't have to start dreaming of £300,000 a month. You don't have to start thinking about that. You're making 3K a month. This is what you would have been making as an engineer anyway. You should be happy.
So, by the way, because I was just trying to figure this out when I was making, I couldn't actually remember. When did you actually move? Did you move before me or after me?
Before January 2022.
So you moved in January 2020.
Sorry, 2023.
Okay, I was going to say, wow, a full year before? Oh, so you moved like a month or two before me?
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I
I didn't speak to you about it. Yeah.
I don't think I even knew at the time that you were living here. So, okay, first of all, at the time when you moved, what were you actually doing work-wise? Was your income coming? Were you working another job as well? Or
Yeah.
was it the same one that you had working when we were living 2020?
No, I moved to another job after that.
So, okay, so in that time period, so 2017, you come to Dubai, you're like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
But you come back, you're just learning skills, giving value, start your own project. At the same time, then you're now, working, getting other jobs as a coder to supplement, build some income.
Yeah. It wasn't just the income thing. I was looking for experience, because what you really want is like a bulletproof CV, right? Which is that if everything flops, I can still get a job, right? That's the whole objective for university, which is that if everything flops, I can still get a job, right?
So do you feel like, let's just say Sonoma was to collapse today, you could still just get a job in Dubai?
Yeah, quite
as a coder,
feasibly, yeah.
and just, okay, fair enough. So when you made the move, talk to me about that process, that build up.
It was so long, bro. So what actually happened was, there was a sister I was going to marry and it didn't work out.
Okay.
I was in the UK because I was trying to get married.
Okay.
And there one thing led to another, something flopped and didn't work out. So I was like, okay, I guess I have no reason to stay here anymore. And then I booked the flight, I think the next day. I'm notorious for booking flights like very, very short, very short notice.
Internet money.
No, but it's because of the unpredictability of what's going to happen later.
Going to happen. Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, I guess I'm just going to leave. And I think you were there with me in the office. And I was in Hounslow at the time. So I was like, let me just stop over. And I pulled up on Aman's iMac. And I was like, I'm just going to see how much it costs, bro. See you later. I'm going to go tomorrow. I didn't book it that night. I didn't book it there, but I went back home and I booked it. And then I just flew out. I was like, bro, I've been living out of my house for long enough that I can fit most of my items in one suitcase anyway. So I was just on the next flight out.
If you don't mind me asking,
yeah,
how much money were you making at that time?
I don't know.
Approximately.
Maybe like 4K.
4K a month.
Yeah.
And did you have a lot of savings?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't mind me asking.
I knew that this was going to cost, because I'd been over these details many times, especially with Saad. I went over it with Saad so much. I was like, bro, because it really helps to have someone who's already done this stuff. Even if you can't ask them questions, we'll try and answer all of those right now, right? Yeah. So I asked him how much rent costs. I asked him how I'm going to pay rent, because obviously when you go on Bayou or you go on Diviso, it says 5 checks, 4 checks, 3 checks, or not 5, it says 4 checks, it says 3 checks. So I was like, what the hell does that mean? Explain that. How much does the residency cost? At the time, I hadn't met Hamza yet, Hamza and Saad, which, by the way, okay, I was supposed to make an ad for Hamza. I'm still making it, but this is going to be an impromptu ad. If you want to move to the UAE, it's going to be difficult if you're moving your own business. But one of the ways that's going to be very, very simple, very easy, is if you speak to my friends Ansar Consultants. That's Ansar, ANSAAR, consultants.com. Reach out to them, ask for Hamza. He's going to help you.
I can vouch for that as well.
Yeah, he's gonna move your company over. He's gonna help you set up your residency, your company. Even he will try to help you open a business bank account. He'll try to get all of the stuff that you would have done in the UK moved over to the UAE, so you can eliminate your tax bill, basically.
So savings wise, approximately how much would you say you had at that time?
10K.
So about 10K savings, 4K income.
Yeah.
And you boom, made the move.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. And you were just one guy. I feel like even as a married man, it wouldn't have been significant, because you still need one bed, you still need one sofa, you still need one,
exactly.
It's only when you have like multiple children, then you got to think about, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Even then, it's not like it's going to increase. It's not like from 10K you need, if you got, for each child you need another 10K. No, it's going to be like maybe a K or 2 at the very most. Interesting. Has there...
But like I said, what I mean is that I went over all of these details, so I knew I'm going to go and do this from the first day. As soon as I arrive, I'm going to do this. And so what happened is, bro, it's so funny. I just wanted to throw back. So I moved back to Emirates Grand Hotel Palms.
Oh, wow.
On the first day I came, I went to Egger. And
it was, right?
No, but I mean, we'd seen other places as well. I was just like, I just want to see what it was like. I want to go back to this place. And so I stayed there for like 3 or 4 days while I was sorting out because Saad was obviously going to help me move to the place, right? Now I just baited who it was. He was so when we went to my first spot, the first place I moved to, he just helped me do all the paperwork and stuff. And then moving forward from there, once it was available for me to move in, like a couple of days later, that's when I moved in.
Have you faced difficulties? Because a lot of people think, oh, look, you guys make Hijrah so easy for you, and Allah made it easy. But they don't realize, actually, there's a lot of hardship that comes with it, man. Yeah. Whether it's related to finances, whether it's related to family, whether it's related to things. What difficulties have you faced since moving here?
So all of those things you just mentioned are significant. It's very expensive, but not expensive to live, but it's expensive to make the move, right? Because if you don't have 10K in your account, you're probably going to think, okay, now I need to save 10K to move. That was just for what I wanted. You can want something different and it may be cheaper, but still, it requires some financial preparation. You still have to kind of get your eggs in, what do they call it? Get your ducks in a row. So kind of have to sort that out. For you to move with zero, especially if you're coming with a family, if you've got a wife and kids, you have to have a plan before you go.
Yeah.
If I was going to come like fully alone, like I said before last time, bro, you know what? I didn't even really think about it. I wasn't really planning every single thing. I was just ready to go. I just booked the flight and I was going. Even if I was going to stay in cheap hotels for a long time, paying £20 a night, I was going to be ready to do that as well. I just knew I had enough. This is it. Are we running out of time?
No. So, but what hardships have you faced since making the move? And have you ever at any point thought, I might have to go back?
No, definitely not.
But have you been through hardships?
Yeah, of course, but not that I have to go back. That's not something that comes to mind at all.
So what are some of the struggles that you have gone through?
Okay, so from the finances perspective, that's obviously significant. But that's a business thing. When you run your own business, the money goes up some months and it goes down other months. You kind of have to, adjust things to make it work. But I think that applies to everybody, so I don't even really want to go into that. But a significant thing, this will happen to everyone if you move, is you've left a whole group of people behind. I've come here and my whole family is still there, like my parents, my siblings, my cousins, my auntie, everybody's still there. And it's tough because, like, my brother, for example, he's 12, right? And he's got other brothers. I've got more than one brother, right? But when I go back, especially if I'm going back after a long period, like I'm going back in August now, right? In a couple of months. And that would have been like a full year, like a full year after. I haven't seen him for a whole year. My mom, I went to Umrah with her the other day, so I'd seen her. But my dad, I haven't seen him for a whole year. You know? And it's like, I haven't thought about it from the perspective of downgrading. I think about it more from upgrading their lifestyle. So I don't think about me going back to the UK, but I don't want to miss my like my siblings growing up or my parents getting old. I don't want to miss that stuff. So now I'm thinking about it from a different perspective, which is, how can I move them here so that I don't have to go back, but I can still see them now? And obviously their lifestyle will improve significantly as well. So family is definitely a huge part of that. But all the other things, the struggles that a person goes through, they're not really connected to this. Moving to the UAE is very, very trivial compared to moving to other places. It's very easy to move here.
Is there anything that you regret doing that you feel like, I wish I had done this differently?
Yeah.
Like,
I wish I did more financial planning in the beginning, you know?
why?
You don't want to be in a situation where your choices in the past are affecting your opportunities in the future, right? And what I would have done is I would have been more stringent with my budget. I've never really been a extremely budgeted person. I kind of live like, just do whatever I want all the time, right? I really, honestly, bro, you know what? It's so interesting. One time I was talking to a guy, and there's a difference between somebody who cares and is pretending not to, and somebody who doesn't care and is pretending to care, right?
Okay.
I started off very much as a person who cares, and I'm pretending not to, and now I actually don't care like that much. It's very hard to make me invest emotion into things. And finance is another part. It's something that I just don't really care about, but I have to. It's important, you know. You have to be.
I'm the same. Like,
you have to have your ducks in a row, bro.
I don't check my account until it declines. Literally the other day.
Welcome to the gang, bro.
Bro, I literally, what was it? Just, I can't remember what I went to pay. And my card declined. And I was like, oh, wait, one sec, what's going on here? They're like, you know, okay, here, let me use my my Wise. I use my Wise instead. And I went back and wait. And I'm looking at my account. I said, wait, where did that? I'm sure I had money.
Where did the money go?
I'm sure I had money in it. Like literally, like the other
this
day.
is what I'm saying. So that's something that a person can regret, and you have to just make sure you do reasonable financial planning, even if it's not to the T. I'm not saying become your own accountant. I'm just saying do some financial planning. Make sure you have your ducks in a row in that regard.
Barakallahu feek. What's one final advice that you would give to a person who's watching this, who wants to make the move? They feel a little bit stuck direction-wise. What's one piece of advice that you would give to them?
There's always hope. I don't believe that there's a hopeless situation. And the reason is because you don't know what's coming in the qadr. It's not possible for you to know what's going to happen in the future. You know, a lot of people, they attribute things to luck. Oh, he got lucky. You know, it just worked out for him.
Yeah.
You know, just banged for this guy or whatever.
It's a victim mindset.
Yeah, false mentality. I don't even know where it comes from. I can't tell you that it's because of this or it's because of that. But I'm saying, bro, you just being you know, there's situations in your life where, not just you, Abubakr, but I mean, even the viewer, where it wasn't supposed to work out and it just worked out. Like, it wasn't supposed to work out, but it just worked out. The other day I was driving a car, I was driving a car really fast. And I spun out.
Okay.
Spinning out is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. Even I'm laughing about it right now because of the context that you know and I know. But it's not funny. It's actually really dangerous. It's really, really terrible.
Yeah.
And I was with one of my dogs in the car, and even if let's run this scenario over. Yeah, let's go from the beginning. Let's think about the outcomes, right? The car getting damaged is the best case scenario if something bad happens.
Yeah.
Right? What happened to me was that nothing happened. Right? I was fine. My passenger was fine. The car didn't get damaged. Nobody else got hit. We didn't fly off the cliff. That's the best case scenario, totally. But in the situation where something happens, the best case scenario is the car gets damaged.
And it was an expensive car as well.
Yeah. The worst case scenario is people get hurt. Somebody dies.
The worst is someone dies.
Yeah, as in physical injury to a person. So we fall off the cliff and both of us are dead, right?
I would say what's worse is you survive, but you kill someone else.
Oh, bro.
If you die, it's like...
Bro, I'm more... Alhamdulillah, you learn from your mistakes. Right? But I'm just saying that's a situation where everything was supposed to go badly.
Yeah.
And it just didn't. Yeah. It just didn't. I don't deserve it. It's not something that I've earned. But it just worked out. Right?
Maybe it was a car that you did that day before getting into the vehicle, before driving, morning, evening.
Possibly, of course. But this is what I'm saying. This is something that you don't know. It's something that you attribute to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the one, the ultimate planner. Allah is the one who knows what's gonna happen. Allah is the one who's gonna make it happen. So I don't think having this like victim mentality for people, which is, he got lucky or it's gonna work out for him. No, have hope. Hope is fundamental. Optimism. You have to be. I can't see, I had this old group chat. I think I've said this many times.
Optimism one.
Yeah. Let me show you, okay? But I'm going to show the so it's a group chat that me and Imran and Saad started in 2017. Okay, this is literally like a week and a half before the Dubai trip we were talking about. And the picture is actually Yasser. Do you remember when Yasser never made videos and he only made graphics?
Graphics.
This is one of his. It says being optimistic about life. Ibn Uthaymin said, it is only right that a person be optimistic, feeling happy about the good he sees in things, and he should not look at life lying ahead of him in this world as dark and dismal, such that he becomes weary of life and loses hope. Bruv, I don't know. I never met Ibn Uthaymin, but it seems like he was talking about me. I never met him, but it's like he copied it from my life. I'm telling you, you have to just look at things as though there is an out. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always hope. You can't think about things like, oh, this isn't going to work for me. And if you have dreams, bro, dream big. What's the point in dreaming if it's not going to be, bro, it's a dream. It's not even there in physical reality. You can dream for whatever you want. I'm saying if you want to move to Dubai and you can dream for something that doesn't even exist yet. Oh, I live in this lagoon villa community where everyone's Muslim and everyone's practicing and there's 5 masajid and I can go anywhere and I know all the imams. That could be your dream, bro. And it could happen as well.
Barakallah feek, Abbas. Jazakallah khairah. That was extremely beneficial, both in terms of the aspiration side of things, giving people aspiration, but also in terms of direction. That's what I said. I want this to be a very practical podcast.
Yeah.
Steps that you can take. I feel like it has been, alhamdulillah, and hopefully, inshallah, with Allah's permission, that this is a means for people to make the move. I'll leave because you openly invited people to, ask you for tours.
Yeah, DM me.
So I'll leave you.
I said if I'm free, because I'm not always here. Sometimes
No. If I'm free, now, bro.
I'm not backtracking now.
Listen,
I'm just saying I'm free.
It's officially open, guys. I'll leave the link in the description. Is there anything else that you're doing right now that you would like to be in? I'll put Sunnah match as well. Yeah. Anyone's looking to get married, find the right one, the right way.
That's my main thing.
You were also at one point teaching people how to code.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore.
Oh, you don't do that anymore.
I have a community. I have a coding community, it's not like a course. Yeah.
Right. But can people join that?
Yeah, of course you can. I'll give the link for that as well.
Inshallah. And also, you also coded a Hijrah.
I did, yeah. Hijrah, I'm still building that, but yeah. So Hijrah Nation, yeah.
If that's out by the time this is out, then we'll put that in there. If not, hopefully you guys benefited. And we'll see you on the next episode of The Road to Hijrah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.